explore the theme for the month of June, which has been seeing the divine in everything. And so we've had a whole month of the first Sunday, we talked about setting our intention. And the second Sunday, we had a guest speaker, Maria Gullo, who talked about the power of prayer. Don't leave home without it. And that was really quite powerful. And then last week, we spoke of the Divine Father and how to get in touch with the oracle within and let it speak through us, to listen to it. So today, we're going to wrap up the month by getting acquainted, or for some of us, reacquainted with an old teacher and a very profound teacher, Emma Curtis Hopkins. So Emma, who is a wonderful, wonderful metaphysician, many of her works are used in the classes and have been studied by many New Thought people. And her book, Scientific Christian Mental Practices, you read it?
Yeah.
How many here have read it? Okay. High Mysticism? Nobody. Okay. Well, if you were in the Roots class, we are going to start delving into Emma Curtis Hopkins in a couple of weeks after we get through. We plowed through Troward. We did Emerson Troward, and then we get to Emma Curtis Hopkins. So we're really getting richness in the foundations of science of mind and New Thought. But her work is absolutely amazing. And anyone who knows about her knows that she lived in the mid to late 1800s and was a student of Christian Science founder Mary Baker Eddy. But she is often referred to as the teacher of the teachers. She personally taught the Fillmores, founded Unity. Ernest Holmes was one of her greatest students. Many people have studied under Emma Curtis Hopkins. And an interesting fact about her is when she was 15 years old, she went to an academy, Woodstock Academy in Connecticut, and she came in as a student, and her genius was so profound. She had such a knowledge that they put her on the faculty, and she became a teacher. So this is the kind of these are the kind of people that Ernest Holmes, founder of Science of Mind, really studied under. So we're very blessed to have these kinds of teachings. So she gave the ladder to many of these New Thought teachers to climb up, to learn how to delve into, to understand, to reach a higher consciousness, a different way of being in the world, but not of it, as she would say. Being in the world, but not of it. And that's about conditions. We're going to talk about that today. She taught them how to see God in everything. And she can do the same for us. And we're going to use some of her tools today. So this morning, I want to share some ideas that have been actually stimulated in me by reading Emma Curtis Hopkins, her Scientific Christian Mental Practice. But before I do, there's a question I'd like to ask you. Does anyone know 4 of the most dangerous words in the English language?
Bad. Yeah,
I already know that. How many times do we say that? So many of the words and the ideas, I mean, I stand up here every Sunday and it's repetition. And you might say, I already know that. But the thing is, our level of understanding is forever deepening. So we learn at a deeper level of understanding each time. So we might know something, but a week later we might know it at a deeper level. So just to plant that in your mind. And I love these words that she wrote in her book. She said, we have an unlimited power. If we do not use that power, it does not alter the fact that it is our inheritance. We have unlimited wisdom. If we do not draw upon it, that does not alter the fact of its being ours. It all exists. So let me go further. If we have unlimited light, if we don't shine it, it doesn't mean that the bulb is burned out. It's still there. We're just not using it. We have unlimited health. If we do not experience it, it does not alter the fact that we have it. It's present. If we have unlimited joy, abundance, peace, balance, harmony in our lives. If we do not express these things, it does not alter it a whit that these are our truths. This is our divine birthright. Just because we don't use them in this moment doesn't mean they don't exist, because they're present. It's kind of like the analogy I use with the clouds, you know, when it's all cloudy out. When it says cloudy out, there is no sun. The sun is always shining. So it's the same kind of theory that Emma Curtis Hopkins is talking about. These qualities are inherent in each and every one of us. If we don't use them, it's simply our misuse or our ignorance that they're there. So why don't we shine, express, experience, emanate, and be contagions for this power, light, health, joy, abundance, freedom, balance, harmony, according to Hopkins. And here's the answer, plain and simple. And don't say to yourself, I already know that. Because, you know, when we say that to ourselves, I already know that. I've heard that so many times. We block off the flow. We block it up. So just stay open. So between you and your power, your wisdom, light, health, joy, balance, peace, and harmony, all of which belong to you and all of which you ought to experience, is your idea of the absence of them. Plain and simple. So plain and simple that I'm going to repeat it again. Between you, your power, light, wisdom, health, joy, balance, peace, harmony, all of which belong to you, and all of which you ought to experience, is simply the idea of the absence of them. We believe they're absent. Do you want to let go of that idea of the absence of them?
Yes.
Yes? Well, then let's get to work. We have a few things that we're going to be going through this morning that might help stimulate that for you. So I'm going to give you 4 steps that come from Emma Curtis. I'm just going to say Emma's work, okay? And the first one is make statements of foundational principles, spiritual truths. Okay, so you make those, we're going to get into that. Second, her second step is reject what contradicts those propositions, and that would be denials. She was one of the first people to teach denials that we use. And the third is to rally every idea you can to support that confirms the spiritual truths that you stated in the first place. And the fourth step we'll get into later, because I want to make the first 3 steps a little bit more real. So we're going to make them a little personal and real. So let's say you're being faced with a struggle in your life right now, something that you just don't know what to do, and you're wanting some divine wisdom. Does that apply to anyone here this morning? I don't know. Everyone here? Good, good. Then this is for you. Excellent. Good answer. So we might think of some statements and some spiritual truths that might be, I am whole, complete, and perfect. That would be a spiritual statement. As I said before, a spiritual statement or a principle. So it could be something like that. I am filled with abundance. I am filled with the wisdom of divine mind. It saturates my being. These are all spiritual truths. These are all statements of principle. So we say them. Does anyone else have any they can think of? Come on, someone's got one. Did I say them all? I am in my perfect relationship and experiencing the joy and love and security that fills me now. Are there any more?
I am the essence of God.
Thank you. I am the essence of love.
I am perfect health, radiant energy with God.
There you go. Thank you, practitioner. No.
I am peace.
Thank you. So these are all, do you see, you're getting the gist of where we're going with this? These are spiritual statements. And the next thing that might go through our minds is that we might contradict them or negate them, these truths, with our thoughts, with our thinking. And it might be something like, yes, I'm abundant and filled with limitless supply, but I don't have enough money for that. Yes, I am absolutely filled with the wisdom of divine mind. I use that intelligence all of the time, but I really don't think I'm smart enough to do that. You know, this is the contradiction. And this is where Emma is telling us, this is where we use denial. It goes on and on. Our minds go on and contradict that which we affirm, those spiritual truths, which are the absolute true reality of our being. And then we have these thoughts that reject them. And so then the third step is, well, the second step is to reject the idea that I am not good enough, that I don't have enough, that I am not smart enough. And then the third step is to reapply back again those spiritual truths. To go, yeah, but I am created out of the nature of divinity. Therefore, that divine life flows through me now. Yes, but there is only one mind. That is God's mind. That is my mind now. And so we move back into alignment.
Right.
We move right back, thank you, Carol. We move right back into alignment and state them as our truth. We state them as our truth. So this third idea of rallying every idea we can think of that supports that spiritual truth that we identified a moment ago, it brings us back into that place where we can accept the truth of who we really are. And it might be, I am a creation of the divine. I know that God is completely abundant in all things. God is the source and supply of every good. The truth of my being is that I am filled with limitless opportunities. Do you know that you are each one of us is filled with limitless opportunities? Do you know this?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you act upon them?
Not necessarily.
Sometimes.
Actually, that's coming through because I shared in Ruth's class that there, you know, Emerson was talking about thinking large, and I said, well, I always thought large. Everything I ever did was large and abundant, except that when they showed that the manifestations, demonstrations showed up in my life, I said, oh no, I can't do that, no. So they just fall away into the space. Because the universe is providing them, and unless I say,
Yes.
believing it, and yes, I'm claiming it, then it doesn't happen. It doesn't become a demonstration. So the third part of what she's saying is to rally all of your energy up to absolutely know it, and claim it, and then really live it. Now the fourth step speaks to our relationship with these foundational principles or truths, and Jesus called this fourth step faith. Faith is the big one. He did not say, according to thy denial or affirmation, be it done unto thee. He simply said, according to thy faith, let it be done unto thee. According to thy faith. You can do the first three steps that I've spoke of until the cows come home. Unless you have that fourth step in place, they won't work. See, that's what was missing in the story that I gave you about myself. I didn't have the faith in myself. I didn't have the faith that there was a power that was providing these things. Even though I had the mental equivalent of thinking large, when it showed up, I didn't have the faith to claim it. So we need to have the faith. That faith will draw your power, your wisdom. It will let you shine your light, not to express just joy, harmony, balance, peace, and all of those wonderful qualities, but to really deepen into your relationship with the divine, to know that the Father and I are indeed one. This is truth. This is what we believe. And what happens to a lot of us is we get all fired up when we go to maybe a spiritual convention, or we're come to Sunday service and we feel really good. We're like so in the flow. We're in tune. We're aligned with the knowing. We believe every word we just heard, even though we might have said, oh, I know that. But we believe it. We believe it. And then come Monday, it starts to dwindle. We start to like lose a little bit of it and lose a little bit of it. And so these kinds of tools, these 3 steps, help us stay in alignment with spiritual truth. And the 4th one, the faith, the belief, the trust that this really exists. That's the one that really seals it. So Paul noticed that the people who accepted the Christian ideas had moments of great exultation. And then they suddenly fell into deep depression. And so he wrote, call to remembrance the former days in which after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of affliction. So that's kind of what he is saying. We get inspired and we get on fire and we absolutely believe it. But then something happens in life and it zaps us right back down, pulls us right back down. And that's kind of like, okay, but we have to remember that we have the power to bring ourselves right back up again. We have that power to bring ourselves right back up again. And that's where the faith comes in. People often know the promise passages of the Bible, or they can quote Ernest Holmes, unbelievably, verbatim almost. But they can quote him. But the trouble strikes when there is no confidence. We're not using what we are learning. We are not using it. And so we don't have faith in the ideas. We read them and they sound so great, but we don't have the faith when in times when we really need to use them. But just once holding on to them when you are in trouble, that would give you a really good start in developing faith. Holding on to these great principles while you are in trouble will invigorate you. It will inspire you. Using our faith in the divine nature of God in these times will deepen your faith. This is when, I feel this is when the greatest, for me, the greatest depth of my faith has taken place is during those times of trials and tribulations, as we say, of challenges in our lives, when things don't look right, and they don't feel right, and everything is out of alignment. But still, if we can go within, if we can turn within and connect with faith, that there is a power that will always, always serve us, will always guide us. We let go and we let God. If we can do that in those times, I would say those challenges, those conditions all pass. And what you're left with is that deep faith. That does not go away. It hasn't for me. In fact, it's gotten deeper. But as I have said in classes, I'm asking for it to get deeper, like without those big challenges of taking place. Do it nice and easy, instead of like this. But we use our faith. And what stands between you and your good? Your belief in the absence of it. That's the thing that stands between you and your good. The belief in the absence of it. And what contributes and pulls all the good together is your belief in the presence of it. That's the faith. Believing, no matter what is going on around. We have faith in God, in the love and law, as Holmes would say. Thus, we have faith in God seeing us through these different conditions in our lives, no matter how much chaos is going on all around us, to be the peace while the chaos is going around. Sure, your energy might be thrown a little, but still remaining aligned, having the faith that this too shall pass. There is a power for good that's always operating, and I am using it. I believe it. I trust it. I have faith in it. The truth about good is God. God is all. I said God is omnipresent. God is in everything, all things. And we need to be firm in our faith, firm in it. Do not let any other idea flow through other than there is this powerful good, this life that I am a part of. Why should you give power to those challenges that show up in life? We can notice them, we go through them, but at the same time having the faith of this loving presence of life, which is the real truth anyway, the eternal truth. Even when we leave these bodies, because each and every one of us is going to leave them. If you think you're going to be in them forever, well, maybe you will. But most people that I know die at some point in their life. But the thing is, it's life after life. So the thing that lives on forever is our eternal spirit, the light within us, which is individualized as each one of us. And so we have this divine personality that is forever expressing, forever creating, whether in body or not. So we need to feel the confidence to come out right. Because when things just happen a little bit at a time, something shows up and we go, oh, this is good. But then the next minute, something then changes it and you fall back down again. You know, when we're dependent on the conditions, we're in a place of being unstable because we haven't involved a higher power. We must involve a higher power if we want stability in our lives, because otherwise we're just judging by appearances, which Jesus counseled us against. And Jacob said to his son, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. Firmness as to the mind or to good, as we call God, the power, does not make the good come out right. It makes us see the good in the right light. It makes us acknowledge the good as there, present. All good is in reality because God is in everything. If we are determined to believe that all is God, that God is present in everything, then everything that we bear witness to, we will be seeing the divine. We will be seeing God in everything, in everyone. And if you've been wondering why today's talk is entitled Unleashing Your Power, it is because we are powerful creators. And so part of being powerful creators is we have this unlimited potential to think of different tools and different ways of living life, of creating with our thoughts, always with our thoughts. So what we're going to do this morning is we are going to make a sacred covenant. Well, I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of, I don't want to call it homework, for yourself, because this is a tool that Emma Curtis Hopkins uses.